So, how was that Devil May Cry anime?
I very much enjoyed it.
I thought it was really good too. In preparation for this, I've been replaying the Devil May Cry series on my own. I beat the first game again and working on the second one. Then eventually we're going to get back to streaming the second game because we still have the second character route to go through. Back in the day we played it, we beat it as Dante, but we didn't go back and do the second character's name. I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Can't either.
It's been a while.
There's going to be a certain subsection of the community that hates me for this, but I did not enjoy 2 that much. I don't hate it like the other subsection of the group,
right?
But I don't think 2 was anywhere near the best Devil May Cry.
The thing that got me was that Phantom comes back out of nowhere, and I'm like, we tried so hard to kill you in the first game, how are you back? But we're here to talk about the anime instead. What I was saying, in preparation for this, played the first game, and I'm working on the second, and we watched the 2007 anime.
Also a treat. Check it out if you haven't.
Indeed. And we've watched all the episodes of the new one, and just for fun, we got Bria in on this one too. That was her very first exposure to the Devil May Cry series, outside of me just singing Bury the Light very off-key. But she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot too. And from what I can gather, it is... in the timeline, it takes place before Devil May Cry 3, which is the first chronological game, right?
Yep.
It's like an alternate telling of the prequel manga that exists. Because a lot of the characters that were in this, I did a little digging. It turns out they actually came from the manga that's the prequel to Devil May Cry 3. Fair warning, we're going full spoilers on this.
Yep, so if you haven't seen it or very much care about spoilers, click off now. We won't be upset.
So yeah, we are gonna go into breakdowns of the episodes, what we thought about each plot element, and etc. So that's your warning to, not get spoiled for it. So there you go. All right. So where do we start on this one? Aside from what we've established about the setup so far.
I think we should go with what made it a quality anime in our opinions.
All right.
I can start if you want.
Yeah. You can start while I cook up what I want to say.
So the first things first, and I brought this up in a recent video. They do exactly the thing that I said an anime about a game should do. It's got its connections to the games, but it tells its own story. It honors what's come before it.
Like the first 4 seasons of Castlevania.
Yeah. Like it was Castlevania quality all over again. Could not be happier. So you have that. It's based on a video game, but it's not trying to market the video game.
Yeah, it's based on a game, but it's not a straight adaptation of the game.
Yeah,
and as far as I can tell, it's not a straight adaptation of the manga either.
Yeah. It's its own thing done for the love of being its own thing, and that by itself makes it good in my opinion.
And also could work as a great companion piece to watch along with the game.
Yes, because that was something else I was going to touch on. They are so loyal to the games still though, because a lot of the crazy stuff you see Dante doing, the spinning the sword around like a boomerang, all that is stuff he can do or does in cutscenes of the games.
Yeah.
You see Stinger. If you pay attention, I'm pretty sure I caught a dance macabre.
That's the spin the sword and then the multi stabs.
Basically,
yeah.
It's his long damaging combo.
Yeah.
So yeah, just the fact it was doing its own thing while staying so faithful, and the quality to the animation and music, it checked all the boxes.
Save for like 1 or 2 instances to where they have licensed music all throughout this whole thing, by the way. So we're over here hearing Last Resort. Now, of course, we also got Rollin' by Limp Bizkit as the opening song. I know that's not the name of the title, but that's what everyone calls it. Mm-hmm. And there's others too, with the exception of like once where the lyrics kind of drowned out the audio a little bit, or not the audio, but the dialogue a little bit was distracting. I thought that the music cues were immaculate. And I did have some concerns because this is a Netflix animated series, and I don't remember the specifics right now, but at one point in time, the team who made the Castlevania series had their hands in this. I don't know if that is still the case for the final product, but at one point in time, they were connected in some way. So we noticed that as time went on with Castlevania seasons 1 to 4, the quality in animation dipped a little bit during the fight scenes. Like there'd be like a couple frames missing here and there. And I did notice that in the first episode of Devil May Cry, when they had like the first 2 fight scenes, there did seem to be a couple frames missing. But then after that, smooth as butter, like the rest of the way.
Something I was gonna say in response to you, it honestly feels like with some of the like music cues that instead of just picking a song that fits, it feels like they picked the song that they wanted and then did the scene around it.
Yeah, like what was
'Cause
that?
some of them were too perfect.
Yeah, like I said, the song "Last Resort" is in there, and it's like during a high-speed chase on the interstate. Dante's riding a motorcycle. The front tire blows out, and then the song says "Can't go on," and I'm like, really?
Yeah. But,
Did they just do that?
yeah. But something to think about with that, though, is in the early episodes, they may have messed that up a little bit, so they had to cut frames to make the music fit.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Like, I can see that being oh my god, we're right there! Like, day before it needs to go out, they're like, just cut out like 3 frames here, 3 frames there. We can make it work.
You know, as someone who perpetually listens to music I enjoy while crafting up fictional animated videos in my head to go with the music, I can appreciate that angle.
Dang, it really was just kind of an AMV at times, too.
It felt like that, and it was fantastic for doing so. But, did you have anything else you wanted to keep building off of that? The tangent of paid respect to the game, even if it's not a straight adaptation?
Not directly. Those were just the 3 main things to me. Is that it was its own thing, but it was loyal to the source, but not like strictly loyal to it, which I'll get into later. And then the music was just spectacular with the animation.
Yeah. I'll say, again, as someone who's not as seasoned with Devil May Cry, having come off the heels of just finished the 2007 anime, this one was a more entertaining watch, if nothing else. It had higher energy. Mm-hmm. Higher energy, the combat scenes were done way better. I do think I prefer the older, like, mid 2000s style animation, just because I love the art style behind that.
Yeah.
But in terms of like how they actually carried things out, with the exception of some occasional weird-looking CGI, I thought the new series handled things very well, and it was more entertaining as just a full, complete package.
I think a big part in the way, like, the animation pacing and why the other one was so different, though, is because the other one very frankly pulls DMC2 Dante.
Yes.
Where he's, you know, more broody for a little while.
Absolutely.
And then this one's more fun and faster paced because it's pre-3 Dante.
Yeah.
And I know you haven't played 3 yet.
It's kid Dante, or not like child, but like you know, high energy, not taking things seriously at all Dante.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Gets
like,
blown in half and just grows it back like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah. But yeah, DMC2 Dante, you have like the broody, I can probably destroy anybody I feel like, but I'm going to have fun doing it.
It's Saitama Dante, where he's bored of the world around him.
But then you have young Dante, who doesn't really understand everything that he can do. He just knows that he basically can do whatever he wants.
Right.
He just never accesses all of it.
Right. So, I'm probably going to get a little spoiled for Devil May Cry 3 with this, but you said that a lot of the story beats that they had in the new show were whole cloth new. They weren't directly taken from the original. Like, mostly with the Makaians actually being, like, just people who are trying to escape a really terrible place.
I do believe there are instances where a few of those occur, but I can't think of any off the top of my head in the game.
This is meant to be a game about hacking and slashing Demon Scourge. We're not here to completely focus in on the, you know, the sorrows of the civilians. We're here to kill dangerous demons, and that's the fun of the Devil May Cry series.
Yeah.
That's what we want in a hack and slash game.
But going back again and doing its own thing, I think that was an interesting angle to take, because like it does outright state that Mundus is a tyrant.
Yes, everyone knows
So
that. Yeah.
if there's a tyrant, there has to be an oppressed people. So
Indeed.
there may be that group in the games that I've forgotten about.
Right. Makai is like the official name for the underworld or hell, and apparently it was given the names underworld and hell because every mythology on Earth that has a bad place for the afterlife or a demon world, they've all collectively decided that's what they want to call it. That's the gist of how they justify it in the show. In the games, did pre Devil May Cry 3, did Dante know that he was half demon, or did he have to discover that later?
I don't really remember
been a
how
while.
soon he learns. It's been a minute since I've played 3. I've actually been wanting to go back to it, but I've been on 5 again.
Yeah. Alright, so we'll move it up in the queue just a little bit with our streams. We'll finish out the EXE mobile games and Trombone maybe do Adventures of Five Islands, Mega Man Legends, and then we'll get back with Devil May Cry to kind of...
You don't have to sell me on the idea.
Yeah.
I'm
going to finish it too. I'm ready to get 5.
5 is my favorite.
Absolutely.
Out of all of them. I would say 3 is probably most people's favorites that I know.
Yeah.
I really liked 5.
Speaking of 5, I was not expecting to get a new rendition of Bury the Light for this series.
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, Virgil does make an appearance. Like, if you haven't seen the sneak peeks that have been posted, or if you watch the intro, then you can see Yamato is there. So, of course, Virgil's going to show up in some form. What I didn't expect was him showing up in the first episode. It was actually a shapeshifter masquerading as him. But the second he shows up, he's accompanied by a new version of Bury the Light playing in the background. I'm like, already? We're already here. Like...
So, using that as a bit of a springboard
Yeah.
into our next topic, we've covered what we thought made it good.
Yes.
I think we should cover our favorite parts.
Whew.
And I know where to start if you need to think. But I can remind you there was a certain thing in a truck.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, my favorite parts with it, as I said before, it's really loyal to the games. A lot of the demons you see in it appear throughout all of the games. You
Yes.
had Echidna from 4. I don't remember if Plasma's in anything off the top of my head.
He reminds me of a devil robot from the Mega Man series. Oh, Mega Man cameo in there, by the way. Oh, that's
that was the
truck.
thing in the truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a little, not bobblehead, but like it looks like the Mega Man 11 amiibo on a spring as a little dashboard companion. Just kind of chilling out there.
But yeah, so you have a lot of fan favorite demons. I don't know, there was one I thought was Nilo Angelo.
The
beginning.
Design-wise, it looks like it is supposed to be Nilo Angelo.
Yeah, but then
it's a red herring.
Yeah, but then we get
Actual demon Virgil.
Yeah, demon Virgil, and it's like, wait, so I don't know if he was a different demon or if he had a different name, because they also didn't drop very many names.
They did not. They didn't name drop Echidna until after she was already killed off.
Yeah.
They used her poison for something, and then even the subtitles never name dropped Echidna. They said plant demon or the Nilo Angelo look-alike. For those who don't know, Virgil got captured and then he got turned into Nilo Angelo, and Dante killed him in Devil May Cry 1. That's the short, condensed version of it.
Very short.
And he had a stand-in, is what we were calling it the whole time, because that's what he looked like. He had a very similar design. The subtitles only ever called him Winged Demon, and then Dante kills him in the show, but then Nero shows up at the very end of the first episode, separate from Dante, and it's confirmed Virgil's alive, and he shows himself in both demonic form, which I don't know if that's his devil trigger, or if it's just a demon form.
I think that's just a demon form, because his devil trigger has consistently looked way different from that.
And he also showed up in his human-looking form, again accompanied by the new remix of Bury the Light. So that other Nilo Angelo-looking guy was apparently not Virgil. So I don't know if it was an intentional misdirect or if it was just cool.
Well, there were a couple intentional misdirects, because, do you mind if I spoil a little bit?
Go ahead.
So, one of the misdirects that caught me was I thought the White Rabbit was going to be Lady's dad.
Dr. Arkham?
Yeah, because Dr. Arkham goes crazy and becomes a demon thing in 3.
Yes.
Yeah. So I spent that whole time thinking that.
Bree thought the same thing, and she's never played Devil May Cry 3. Yeah. But just picking up on some of the minor story beats, she thought that that's where it was going with it.
But going on with things that I loved about the show, they had a huge, parallel theme on humanity.
Yes. There's one episode that is almost completely silent. It is... Yeah, so I'll let you guys over it then. But
So, parallel theming with humanity, as he was saying, there's a episode where it's almost completely silent in terms of dialogue, and it follows... I won't spoil all of this, because this is a very good episode. It might be one of my favorite episodes I've seen in media. It was done that well. But you have two characters who are learning, hey, this is what it is to be human, and then these non-humans are just the same. So you have one person who gains it and one person who loses it, and that goes into the other thing I was going to mention with the names. They barely name drop the demons at all. But the big bad never gets named, and he's a human. So they not take away, but they don't give him one of the main things that in society would kind of classify you as human.
A name.
Yeah. So in the end, he was kind of just another devil because he had lost his humanity. And just the way they told that story, spectacular.
And I feel like that's a good springboard to go talking about Darkom, which is Mary Arkham, or better known to the Devil May Cry community as Lady. She has her own elite task force of demon hunting hitmen who look like something straight out of... Had. They look like something out of Marvel. Like, the armor they wear very much reminds me of how Cable is often depicted. One of the girls on the team, she actually has like a Nightwing-style mask. I know that's DC, not Marvel, but you get the idea. She's got, actually, it's kind of like Damian Wayne's mask, but it's blue, and she's got twin katanas.
Actually, it might be because I'm playing Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. Right now, they honestly reminded me a lot of Shinra soldiers.
I can see that, especially the guy with the pink visor.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that reminded me, just because I'm back on a Halo kick, it was basically an ODST helmet, but without the lower half of the mask.
You said that while we were watching it.
Yeah, I was like, ODST guy over here. And he's the guy who had the truck with the Mega Man thing on it, so that made me happy. Other cameo that I don't think it's not Capcom related, and maybe it was just a passing glance, but from my point of view, one of the demons that they had that was on screen for like 2 seconds looked like Malbolgia from Spawn. I'm gonna have to go back and clip that.
I remember that too.
Like, I'm like, here it is. Like, if it actually is Malbolgia, then that's a very clever cameo. If not, then I'm just bad at remembering things on the spot. But
look, as someone who's read a lot of Spawn,
yeah,
once you pointed it out, that was Malbolgia.
Yeah, but
maybe not. So, maybe not specifically. It was legally distinct.
Yeah, the copyright-free Malbolgia. Lady
Malbolgia at home.
Yeah, then we just get that bad CGI one from the Spawn movie. But Lady does get her iconic rocket launcher at some point. I don't remember her having like that whole squad with her. I've never heard that talked about anywhere.
That's entirely new.
And that actually does make a lot of sense.
By my recollection.
So it's kind of like a Helsing organization, Men in Black kind of thing. And I'm okay with that, because I often do draw parallels between Devil May Cry and Helsing. I've seen other people do it too. Mm-hmm. And more than just the main character wearing a red coat and dual-wielding black and white pistols. That is one thing. Ebony and Ivory make no appearance in this, but again, this is early Dante, so I'm okay with that. He does have Rebellion the whole time, though.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, I mean, that's like his birthright sword.
Oh, yeah. What I think is kind of funny is, at the start of it, Dante is out hunting demons, but there's a point where, of course, his amulet is a big plot point, because it can help open the gates to the underworld. So both the Darkom, the demon hunting Men in Black, and then the demons themselves are both after it. So Darkom tries to bring him in, and Dante has to non-lethally incapacitate like a whole squad of mercs.
I mean, he doesn't have to.
But he decides to.
He decides to, because it's more difficult for him.
Yeah. I think it's funny, Lady is over here trying to throw some shade, because she absolutely hates demons. And she's like, you fight like a demon, it's all brute force and no strategy. I'm like, Dante did a billiards break and like pinballed all of them with pool balls. You're gonna call that not strategic? And that was something straight out of the games too. Mm-hmm. And of course, like, they broke his jukebox. Like,
that poor jukebox.
Right?
I swear every time it's on screen it gets broke.
You're right. Yeah, even in the 2007 version. Mm-hmm. I think it's really funny is, I don't think we actually saw Dante eat pizza once during the actual bulk of the show, except during the opening. But he does at least hide a gun in a pizza box, so that's funny. One
of my other favorite touches that I didn't mention earlier, specifically them having the diner from the old anime, and him being a new patron at that point, that was... And, like, the waitress, has the strawberry sundae on the table. Your regulars already on the counter. And then that's the scene where Virgil shows up. Like, he blows a hole in the windows and all that. And then Dante just goes Quicksilver from X-Men and just grabs everyone, shoves them to the side. I mean, again, he can functionally do whatever he wants. He just doesn't realize it yet.
Lore accurate Dante. But in this series, he never questioned why he has these abilities seriously, or at least he got over by the time the series starts. He's like, I'm basically just a superhero. Don't know how, I just have these powers.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and then they bring it up, it's because you're half demon. No, I kill demons, I can't be half demon. So it's probably more a thing of he forced himself to not accept it. psychologically he couldn't.
Yeah, I was about to say, I probably wouldn't be
I
able
mean,
to.
when he watched demons kill his mother and his brother, what do you expect?
Yeah.
You don't want to be like them, so he psychologically forced himself to deny that. The funniest part, good.
I was going to say, also, they actually kind of give more focus to Sparta than, like, some of the others felt like they do. Again, it's been a while since I've played the later games, which is, there's a lot of Sparta reference in that, but it's not like anything past the, oh, he was great.
Yeah.
But this one is just like, you have the consequences of his actions actually being discussed by just evil demons, because the civilians are just like, yeah, no, what he did made this suck worse.
Yeah.
You know?
So that brings up another point. What I was going to say, the funniest moment when we find out about Dante's insane healing factor is during the fight with the mercs. One of them just blasts a hole through him with a shotgun, and then it just grows back. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm basically a superhero. Then the guy tries to turn tail and run. I was like, give him credit, he knew when to stop. But going off the Sparta thing, I was under the impression, by the game's lore, that Sparta used Yamato to sever the human world from the demon world, or sever the dimensional connection between them. Effectively?
Yeah. I tried to say effectively and essentially at the same time. It came out offensively.
But the way they describe it in this series is that Force Edge, which is the sword that becomes the demon sword Sparta, once it is completed, it has the power to open a gateway to both worlds, or less a gateway and more merge them together, like a filter laid over the other one, with a portal in the sky.
Yeah. I'll point out two things
Yeah.
related to that. We never see it, like, fully operate.
It didn't have long enough to, so sure.
So, we still don't know if that is for sure what it's able to do.
Right.
But even more so, Sparta could have used Sparta,
Like the blade.
yeah, the blade, and just used Yamato's power through it to cut it. Because, I mean, once you have that much power and demonic energy, like,
You do pretty much anything you want.
yeah, you can do what you want when no one can whoop your ass.
Right. The way I was looking at it was, at least based on the visuals that I have for Yamato being a dimension hopping sword, is that it cuts a rift and then it creates a portal, basically. So the way I would see things is, based on the visuals that we get with the Demon Sword Sparta being used, again, it's more like a filter layered over the world, because once the power was separated, everything just went back to normal. It's not like, oh hey, here's a gateway to Makai. It's like demons are just kind of
And if it
spawning in.
If it was a full portal, it could have closed and it not let them through. It may have only like let their essence through.
Yeah, which could explain why they got dragged back in once it was sealed. What I was going to say is that it could have been, like, he used that to, like, he put up a barrier with the sword.
Yeah,
That's how they describe it. They describe it as his blade created a barrier.
Dude, that might be how they end up working it, is that he made the barrier with the Sparta, and then he got back through it with Yamato.
Yeah, like he went back to the demon world with it?
No, like, he was technically fighting demons when he split the worlds.
Yeah.
So he may have ended up on the demon realm side when he made the split, and he just used Yamato to be like, deuces.
Ah, yeah, that makes sense. I was going to say...
That's what I would do in that situation,
Right.
That's how it works.
Right. Because in the first game, they don't tell you that that is what the Demon Sword Sparta can do. They just say, oh hey, it makes you really, really, really strong. You need it for the final boss.
I still love the fact... I've already told you this, but I love the fact that that's not the most powerful sword we get.
Right. Yeah. Alright.
If you haven't played the games, please. They're great.
I'm trying not to compare too much to the original, because we do have a full video plan to talk about, I say the original, the 2007 anime. We do have a full video plan to discuss that in depth. One thing I'll say that made this partly a more entertaining watch is that it is a very linear, straight story. It is just beat. It's not episode, skip 2 weeks, episode, skip 2 weeks. The last two episodes are all connected together. Overarching thing, it is just a straight through, smooth story.
Yep.
Again, like Castlevania, which, again, I don't know if that is because they might have some of the same story runners on there, or if it's just formulaic because Netflix. Either way,
it's a good formula.
Yeah, and I will say, while season 1 and 2 of Castlevania are still like top tier for me in terms of like modern Western animation. This one is definitely a fantastic attempt, and I'm going to need to watch it through a couple more times to see how well it stands and ages.
It only takes about 4 hours, so...
Right, but it's like, this one, I already wanted to watch it again after we finished it, and I'm already, like, foaming at the mouth for Season 2 to come out. And not just because Virgil, but now because Dante knows that he's part demon and got his devil trigger, so I'm ready to see all the insane stuff. It's like, they tease a lot of stuff in the beginning, like in the opening sequence. Like, we know Mundus has been name-dropped and he's been shown. We gotta see him show up at some point. I want to see Dante, awaken his powers further. I want to see him get ebony and ivory. I want to see all of it. And of course, Virgil. Absolutely.
I looked it up because I had said it looks kind of reminiscent of DMC3.
Yeah.
It's just with a different hair, or like horn and hairstyle.
Yeah, that is the one that shows up in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, I believe. And that's actually my favorite form of Devil Trigger.
Spikes.
Yeah. I will say one thing they did was it takes place in America, confirmed, as opposed to being kind of vaguely hinted it probably takes place in America or some European country. Mm-hmm. It's like, yes, it does take place in America.
It takes place in America and deals with rather American issues.
It does. I feel like they were a little...
I'm not saying that the issues it deals with aren't in a lot of other places, but some of the ways they address them are some of the ways that they should be addressed.
I feel like it was a little ham-fisted at times.
Yeah.
Mostly because at the very beginning, the very, very, very beginning, before we even get Dante on the screen, when they have confirmed demons exist, they got like a gathering of a bunch of important people. We see this one fat Texas guy with a cowboy hat and an overly exaggerated southern accent. Of course, because it's involved demons and it's in America, they talk about the Bible and holy wars and all that. Fast forward to the end of the series, turns out that's the President of the United States. And I'm like, that is obviously...
Well, he was the president then, too. I think you just missed it.
I just missed that line of dialogue, apparently. But I'm like, oh, that's clearly exaggerated George W. Bush stand-in right there.
It was pretty
easily.
It was pretty egregious on that one.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But
that's a tragedy. How many's a Brazilian?
But he was barely in the series. It was more so the vice president was there getting things done. And vice president looks like Wesker, and I can't unsee that.
He's Wesker mixed with a little bit of Armstrong.
They name drop him as something else, but it's Wesker. Oh, they also name drop Raccoon City, which is a nice throwback to how Devil May Cry originally started as a Resident Evil sequel.
I forgot I wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
that was...
Enzo, is that his name? Dante's broker finds him all the jobs. Dante's like, this is the second worst job you've ever found me.
Are you still mad about that Raccoon City job?
Third worst job. But it's something I actually, here's
what was worse than Raccoon City? Because that was the quote.
Right? I don't know.
I didn't think about that, but if he made it the third worst, that means Raccoon City wasn't the first.
So Vice President gets the portal generator to Makai, again, demonic realm, opens it up, calls the army, American Idiot starts playing, and then they start bombing the place.
That was so great.
That's where I'm like, okay, so they're, on the one hand, this is very serious, but at the same time, they are...
playing it about as straight as they could be.
Yes, so I'm like, on the one hand, it's like, guy who's constantly saying this is all part of God's plan, but I'm like, but he's also a politician, and they are always wrong, so... But so I'm okay with them like dropping American Idiot in there, showing again it's.
I was gonna say it's like that it's really.
It felt like a South Park moment, to be real.
Yeah, it's really on the nose, but let's be honest, that was pretty accurate representation, because
yes,
we'll do some heinous stuff as a country, but we are a deeply unserious people.
Indeed.
Like that.
I feel like that's where the Armstrong part of him came in.
Mm-hmm.
Grease the gears with a little American blood.
Well, that's about all I got.
Yeah, the rest of it is just a bunch of one-liners, some really good written dialogue, and a lot of it's in-depth.
It's a very Devil May Cry.
A lot of it is in-depth character stuff that is easier to go over in a full breakdown as opposed to a reaction video, and that I would say you're better off just watching the series at this point. Each episode is about 30 minutes or so instead of your average 22 to 25. So,
But there is the intro and outro time.
oh yeah, but those are only like a minute and a half piece.
Yeah, so you get a healthy like 28, 29 minutes.
Yeah.
In the end, so it's
still nice meaty episodes, and again, there's 8 of them. It's about a 4-hour watch. So
they're all gas.
yeah, if you're a fan of Devil May Cry, then
every episode
yes.
is straight gas. It doesn't slow down.
And would you say this is a good jumping on point for the uninitiated?
I would say yeah, it can be, but I'm a little hesitant on it because I saw why it was such a good like anime from someone who's played all of them, because I could pick out little things, be like, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I know what game that one's in.
Yeah.
So like you're missing out on a lot of that. I would say if you want it to be your introduction, watch it first, because it would be a good like, hey, this is sort of how it works. This is sort of the over arc of the franchise.
And then immediately go play Devil May Cry 3.
Then go play it in chronological order and then come back.
Yeah.
Because if you do all of those things, you're gonna have a really good time.
And me personally, based on my experience, I think it was a great companion piece, and I feel like it could be watched with the other series almost in succession. It's kind of the same comments I had about Transformers 1 and Transformers 1986. It's like, this one is newer, and it is like a prequel of sorts, and while it's not a set-in-stone direct timeline, you could almost put them together in a watch order and not be too lost and miss too much between either of them.
Yeah. I would still say if you're going to watch the other anime, which you should,
Yeah.
that you should still watch it in chronological order.
Yeah.
I would say the new anime, 3, 1, old
2007.
anime, 2, and then 4, 5. Because
Yes.
it's a Tarantino movie, it's out of order.
Yeah. Of course. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I really wanted to...
I don't know, but we're starting to run a little long.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's about all I got for that note. Again, working on a video for the other one, but that's... it'll get here when it gets here. Can't rush your art, you know?
Nope.
So, anything else to add?
Nope.
Alright, well, we're excited for Season 2.
Yeah.
Last I checked, it is coming out in, what did I say, July next year, I think?
I think that was right.
Maybe
We
it's
can look it up later.
Maybe it's May. I don't know. Sometime, I'm pretty sure we've already got it confirmed for Season 2 for next year. I'm hyped for it, and unlike Castlevania originally, we actually got a full 8 episodes instead of just 4 for the first season. So, while I absolutely want more, we didn't get just the teaser before the drop. We got full drop, ready for the next full drop.
Yep.
And, yeah, I'm hyped. I'm ready for it.
Yep. Give us more, please.
Yes. Alright, well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Peace.